What the fuck?
It's all over. Welcome back, everyone. This segment is brought to you by Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop, which is not what I had in my notes.
I
but
know.
what was coming up, did you see that?
Yeah, that was good.
Check out the awesome
Yep.
selection of cigars at Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop, MrJHavana.com.
Check out that good-looking guy behind the counter.
Paul Doyle's there tonight?
Oh! That was good. Ruh-roh, you're out.
Do you want to talk about the latest staffing changes, or is that
No,
public
there's
yet?
no need of that.
Do you want to talk about any cigars you brought in recently?
There's nothing really that came in that's been new since last week.
Okay.
They're waiting for a couple of cigars. One was that's why I just pinged KC right away about the satin glove. As I
haven't seen them anywhere.
he said that there's a little. It seemed like Slow Boat from Nico. He said I had the one at the show and I really enjoyed it. And I'll tell you the one that I'm enjoying more and more. Some people were like split down the middle. I was a little taken back. I had a conversation with Coop doing a torpedo out of his Lat 46, the Lat line, the Special Select.
Mark Jr. liked. Well, no, he liked the Racine. He liked the Racine.
Yeah, right. I did the Lat. The Racine was good. I gave him that one. I'm telling you something. That's getting better and better and better. I'm telling you, I really enjoy that smoke. So
that's how the Lat line's gone, though. The Lats, when they first came out, they were good.
Yeah.
But they got better and better over time.
Right. And I tell you, the 46 when it first came in, I said,
same thing.
Oh, I knew. Not I knew, but I concurred and said with a couple of people and saying, wait for this thing. It's smoking good now, and lo and behold, look what it's doing now. I think it's his best cigar he's ever put out.
Good cigar.
How is your cigar? You're not smoking anymore. That's
No. It's an angler. It's
an angler.
You got to try one. It could be for somebody. Like I said, it starts off. I got that like white pepper on the retrohale. I found it a little on the drier side, so you know me like that. Not excessively, but enough.
Yeah.
Like, this got me going. But I found a kind of a muted flavor on it. It was okay. Maybe someone would like that particular style of cigar. I'm gonna have to say what I'm saying. Maybe not. But it didn't really pair up with the whiskey either. It
so I'm
kind of
fine
like
with mine.
crashed.
The Lucia Black. The thing that kind of kept me going was that fire cured because it was so different, you know. And pairing it with this whiskey is not something I would recommend. Like, the cigar is good on its own. I would say, maybe a 5 or maybe keep 2 or 3. I think if we had a rating that was like not a try one, but in between 5 or like try 2 or 3 to keep around to mix things up in your humidor, but don't.
That's about our.
Yeah, don't pair it with this whiskey because the whiskey on its own is good. The cigar, like I said, you have 2 or 3. Definitely, it's got some unique flavors, especially in that fire cured. I think that the other components are, they're okay, but the fire cured is what really keeps you going on it. But doesn't pair well with the whiskey.
No, I wasn't.
Paul, again, I'm not pairing it with the whiskey, but I think you're right on the money with what you're saying on that. I'd probably have it between a try one and a 5-er. It's smoothed out a lot since I've smoked it last. It's gotten a little sweeter, but I will say this, this was very dry on my palate.
I
had to run
agree.
to get a soda actually on the break because I was dry.
Killing,
My throat was drying out so much from it.
Well, I'm drinking more water than whiskey.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, and this is the fire cured, so I definitely needed to hydrate here.
All right, well, while I grab another cigar, why don't you go ahead and start with your list.
All right, I'm going to kick it off with the J. Grotto Silk Lancero, which I haven't talked about yet on the show. But this is a cigar that we broke news on with Stogie Geeks a few months ago. It made its official debut at the IPCPR trade show, and shortly after it shipped, it is a Lancero version of the Silk line. Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, that double binder of Criollo 98 and Indonesian. The filler from Honduras and Nicaragua, 7.5 by 40. We talked about this, I know, last week when Paul was on the show, Paul Joyle. There's not a lot of Lancero Ecuadorian Connecticut's out there. And this one, I felt, you see a lot of Ecuadorian Connecticut's and you see a lot of Lanceros, but you don't see a lot of them put together. This blend delivered really well in the format. I really enjoyed it. I felt up front it had more sweetness, it had more cream. I had like a berry note I was getting from it. Really nice sweetness. It kind of, the second half, some of that, I felt a little more cedary developed in the second half.
Absolutely.
It's not going to redefine what an Ecuadorian Connecticut is.
No.
So it's going to be,
Which cigar was this?
The Silk Lancero.
Okay,
Just
I
froze.
thought so.
good on this cigar. Amazing. Exceptional burn. The draw was exceptional for a Lancero. The price is at $7.99.
Yeah.
Given it, I went box worthy with this, and I know Paul Doyle's the sponsor of us, but this is
It's a box
I
of
heard
10.
all the good feedback about this cigar, and it lived up to it.
Right. And to elaborate on what you were saying about Connecticut and Lancero, and this is what I told Paul in the beginning, let's build that core line, get that regular Vitolas out there, Robusto, Toro, Churchill, 6x60. Let's see the feedback, then come with the Lancero. And I think in that order, it worked out quite well.
I didn't go bell to the ball with it because I'm a big fan of the Silk line as a whole. So, I don't think it was head and shoulders above the other Vitolas, but this is a very good line to begin with.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Stogie Santa, did you have?
I got a short list. You know what? I revisited, and I'm going to tell you something. I went from I had it at the show 2 years ago, the East Stunner.
Yes.
And I'm doing a lot of housekeeping at the store. Did a lot of rearranging, and I revisited the 5x50. I got that now at between a $5 and Boxworthy.
Really?
That thing,
It's good.
It's really good. The sweetness off that cigar developed. You know how you got that first part of that cigar? You got that almost a tart taste to it. Almost.
Yes.
People thought it was
tart
like,
is the right description.
Yeah. Some people thought it was spice. I call it tart. That is completely gone.
I knew that cigar was going to age.
And that's the whole thing is, I'm telling you, do this cigar now. I think, in my humble opinion, I'm not going to tell Ernesto what to do with his business. That's for sure. I think he would have been smarter to sit on this and let this done more time with this. I think the cigar would have been a big hit.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you on that.
Oh, this cigar is, I tell you, and I think that's that's the best of the line. And that Vitola, that cigar, I enjoyed that thing hands down. I didn't get the sweetness off that in the beginning at all. Nothing. Didn't even come close to that. And that cigar, from beginning to end, not one piece of tartness in there. It is completely gone because I'm telling you, most people smoke that cigar. And when I was even at the show, I talked to my rep. I said, this is not going to go over well because people. I tell you, the first inch was tough. I mean, it really was.
Tough. Yeah,
it really. But that sweetness has developed and evolved. And as a matter of fact, I'm so strong behind this line. I put that in a spot where I want people to revisit this cigar. I think it could be a much better sell. I never thought I could
put it in the back where no one can find it but us.
No,
is that what you did?
No, that's not going to help out on this though.
No,
I can get plenty of these, but
I
think this cigar is really really coming into its own. And you know how he's with Sumatra. I mean, it's not as strong as point as Sumatra's at times, but this one, I'm telling you.
It took a while. I mean, I'm in total agreement with that. When I had him at the show last year, I was really
disappointed.
About that.
Me too.
I talked about it at some point late last year, and I felt it was coming around.
Oh, you said that.
I did.
I remember that conversation.
I was surprised how much came around.
Oh, do yourself a favor. If you're listening, go out, grab an EPC, do the East Stunner, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to change your mind all the way around. And I had it from a try one angle I got it to a minimum of a $5, if not close to box worthy. So that's my opinion. So anyway,
we've done something kind of interesting with what we've lit up. I lit up a cigar that's one of your favorites, and you lit up something in a line that's one of my favorites.
Right.
So I'll start since you just talked about the East Stunner. I lit up the the Mode 5 Aquitaine from Roma Craft, which I love this cigar. I can't get enough of them. Every time they come in the store, I grab a whole handful.
Oh yeah.
I don't, you don't get a whole lot of them, and people really like to smoke them, so I don't like want to go, taking more than I should, like I normally do.
Yeah, that's what they're there for.
Yeah, so I just this has kind of become a staple in my humidor. It's become a staple in my smoking rotation ever since you smoked it on the show. I have noticed some weird inconsistencies, like some
Not as
not as much with the recent batches.
No,
you think?
I don't think it's a little correction.
Skip's
and
listening. He was like, "Oh, wait a minute."
No, I used to hate that. Who's he to listen to? But this, I'm already sold out what I got at the show already, and I put in another big order with this. This cigar is it has nothing.
What's
to
the price point on this?
That's $6.99. Can you take that?
God. Oh, I could. This
Can
is.
you-
But this
oh.
is.
That thing is
This is-
so unique.
This
I
is.
love it.
I mean,
I love it.
this is earning a fight Chuck Norris form in my.
Oh,
in my book.
I'm telling you, it gets better and better, and it's a
does.
great point that you brought up about the inconsistencies. And that
There have been some in the past. This one might come from the newer batch, which you said you haven't noticed that.
I have. I've smoked at least 3 boxes of those
Yeah,
easily.
I've smoked probably.
But Hackwood came with another line where when it first came out,
Right.
it needed
Oh,
some-
yeah.
I thought it needed more time.
Oh, no doubt. I was at the show, and at the end of the show, he gave me like and here Paul said, "Let's have a silk." I'm on my second Mo 5. I said, "I'm sorry." I'm sorry. I just couldn't. I'm
they're
telling
so
you,
good.
I just couldn't stop. And I'm telling you that this cigar, it was so funny. I tried a couple of people. It's funny. They see a name they don't know.
Yeah,
And I'm not just saying, Skips. It's not
it's
exactly
anyone's name. they can
anyone's
see.
name,
Yeah.
right? All I just told them to the real good customers, you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. And I haven't gotten the money back at all.
Yeah, you haven't had to give any money back.
No.
No,
So
I
anyway.
agree.
Yep. What do you smoke?
So you lit up
Oh.
something that I really like.
That
I'm
Angel
curious to
Share,
hear.
the new Angel Share.
This is the Churchill?
Yes. The caramel sweetness off this is,
Isn't it?
You talk about a perfect pairing
With that.
with this.
With the whiskey.
This is heaven. The sweetness off this cigar is like there isn't any other one. I'm going to tell you something right now. There's nothing close. Anywhere, hands down, nothing.
I find that it has some of those Opus almost leathery components, a little
Small,
bit of spice.
yes,
But
slight.
that sweetness is the more prominent flavor.
that
So
comes
it's almost
out.
like smoking an aged
Yeah,
Opus.
exactly.
But you don't have to wait
You don't have
for
to
it.
wait. It sits right on your tongue. It coats. I got to be careful with that. But
I tell you what,
Oh.
that Churchill to me is box worthy.
Oh,
I think
God.
the Robusto in that Angel Share line is Fight Chuck Norris bordering on Oasis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah,
pick
this-
those up if you can get them. Some local retailers do get some of the Angel Share. Anything that has that Angel Share brand on it they've tweaked the blend, and I tell you what, it's
right out of the
fantastic.
box. Right out of the box.
Right out of the box, they are fantastic. You don't have to let it age 3 years like Opus.
No. If and the whole thing is, this would be great for Opus. Who is it? What's everyone afraid about Opus? What's the big thing everyone was afraid of?
Strength.
Right. And I think
You
this
don't have
is
that
medium.
concern with that,
No,
yeah.
you don't. You really don't.
Yeah, it's a medium full.
Yeah, I call it dead on medium because maybe our palate's a little bit more seasoned.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So have you tried the Angel Share at all, Coop, in any size?
Yeah, it was the Toro.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, really good cigar.
Yep.
I got to put it in my rotation for the show. It's kind of an undercrown Opus X from what I understand. I mean, that's
a
what I
nice way.
understand what they did.
Yeah. Now, did you
They took
find that a
different
medium
primings.
plus or medium cigar and strength wise?
I think plus
Yeah,
wasn't
plus.
quite full.
okay.
It had a little more kick than I thought.
Okay. All right. Maybe it's me then. It's.
But I had it a while. I mean, I didn't have it from this batch. I had an earlier batch when they first came out, so it's been a while since I smoked it.
Yeah. One thing I want to get back to on the San Lucia, that Pennsylvania, the binder, you can. I tell you, as
Taste
you
that?
got down there, you could taste that strength. Do you notice that, Coop, at the end of the cigar?
Oh yeah, I saw on the white. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get the first half. Something was in the back.
Yeah.
And then in the back
He didn't
half,
put that in there. It would have been too weak a cigar.
it would have been extremely bland.
Yep.
I went on a little Elohio kick, and I started with the Habano, and I smoked a bunch of the different sizes. Want to just read a little bit about this. We're going to do a special on Elohio on the next show and offer a special discount for our listeners. But I smoked the Robusto as well as a bunch of other sizes, so I'll get to where the bell of the ball comes into play. The Robusto is 5x50. It's a Nicaraguan wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and filler. It's around $10 for the Robusto. That comes from Cigar Explorer. This was an often smoke. If you like something with a little more punch to smoke with coffee in the morning, this one is the one for you. When I originally reviewed this cigar, I was probably in a day where I was like 3 cigars deep already, and I didn't quite get it. Like, some of the flavors are kind of subtle. You smoke this on a fresh palate with a nice cup of coffee, and I can see people.
It's a good cigar.
Yeah, I can see people seeking out boxes of this stick. This was almost my favorite in the line. It was a close second. I'm calling this one a box split on the Robusto. It's a very strong offering in the Habano line.
I want to see what you call the box worthy. I guess something tells me we're going to be on the same page.
Okay. Excellent. Well, back to you.
I talked a little about it last week when we had Raphael Nodell and Hank Bischoff from Boutique Blends, but I actually smoked this a little more closely over the weekend, and it's the Aging Room Bin Number 1 by Boutique Blends, and I smoked the B minor size, which is 6 1/8 by 52 Toro. It's a different blend than anything that Boutique Blends has done because it's the only one that right now I believe uses an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. They've not gone with a Habano wrapper from Ecuador before, and it's got the aged Dominican tobaccos that come from. They're saying I guess it's from an area of Hochi Blanco's factory called Bin Number 1, and they say it's from 1999 and 2001. It definitely tastes like this aged tobacco in that thing, too. One thing I was really surprised about with this cigar is it did have a lot of strengths to it. I was not expecting it, especially since there were some, the claims of the age of the tobacco. But I did enjoy the cigar, as I told Raphael last week. I thought up front it had a lot of notes of natural tobacco. It had the sugar cane, kind of caramelized sugar almost at the beginning, and some assorted spices. As I started smoking this, it built up more of a vanilla taste to it in the second half. The spices kind of switch up too. It's like red pepper early on, and then it's more of a classic black pepper. Overall, I thought it was a really good smoke. It produced a lot of smoke. The couple of issues I had with it, all of them seem to need a lot of TLC with the burn. Not that it was a bad burn, but it was one of those burns where it just kind of got jagged and you just had to keep touching it up with the lighter. And it had a very loose ash, too, which is something I just don't like. And I get a little frustrated with a loose ash just because it makes the cigar experience, I think, a little more inconvenient. Still,
yeah, you need, you know what? You need a good, you need a good, nice, tight ash. That's what I always say.
Yeah, you need a good, nice, white, tight ash. I couldn't give it a box worthy based on that. I went with a box split. But it's also at $12.60 a cigar, Again, let's see what these do over some time. It definitely has the potential to be a box worthy. Flavor-wise, it's one of the best cigars Boutique Blends has come out with, and it will be enjoyable. But that's my thoughts on it.
What about dry boxing?
You think for Raphael.
You didn't find it being damp by any chances by that had the burn issues at all that you were talking about?
No, I definitely didn't. I did not find it damp. Because the draw was flawless on that thing too. Usually when I have a damp cigar, the draw I just start fighting the draw.
Right.
It wasn't something like that.
Okay.
Stogies,
the ash was really believe it or not. I know it sounded nitpicky, but the ash was loose, and it kind of just frustrates me when that happens.
Yeah, before I get to that, your segment, Paul, on yours, one thing I took away from Raphael and what he's doing down there, I really like the idea of what he did because the 356 to me, I love that cigar.
Great cigar,
fabulous cigar, box worthy in my opinion. Going out and telling you that he's putting a different blend and calling it and designating that, I think that's really. This way here, I think he alleviates any kind of scenarios. That it's not the same thing as the other. And some people, there are manufacturers out there that don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's just really.
Absolutely.
I think that is, amen. So anyway.
Yeah, very, very good for them to do that.
Yep, good marketing.
So
good marketing.
I give them all the credit in the world with as well.
Yep.
So I smoked
and we could be the judge how good it is. Yeah, we'll be the judge how good it is. Yep.
I smoked the Edgar Hoyle Cigars Lancero.
Some good things about that.
This was a gift from CLE Cigars, and I have to say I might have lit this up too early in the day because I lit it up, and it was just a very powerful kind of flavors and aroma. The taste wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad cigar. It wasn't for my palate, and it could have been maybe not for my palate in that time of the day. Yeah. I found it to be very, very strong, and almost overpowering to my senses.
Oh, wow.
It's almost like they packed some pretty strong tobacco in there. The nicotine levels weren't really off the charts, but the flavors and aroma were just very, very strong on the senses. For that reason, I give it the try one rating. This might be in your wheelhouse. I definitely think it's something I need to revisit maybe later in the day after a big meal, but not something that did wonders for my senses that early on in the day. Did you guys smoke the cigar?
No, I heard some up and down things about it. Yep.
I have it. They sent that to me as well, and now I want to give it a try to give it my feelings. I wasn't a big fan of the 99 Problems Lancero.
Oh, that thing was absolutely. Oh.
I didn't think 99 Problems was bad.
I had. Whatever.
I think it didn't do a very good job of standing out from the pack.
I tell you what I'm going to tell you what they did with that. To be honest with you, that was just bad marketing on their point of view. Because what do you think about the CLEs, 660s, 670s, 6x80s, whatever? Then you come up with this, and it's a great name, 99 Problems, because that's what I had with that cigar. 99 Problems. I'm just telling you.
I tell you what, the Asylum 60 ring I thought was good.
I'll tell you what, the Asylum is not bad in a 60 ring. I'll tell you what what surprised me immensely.
Was there Petit Corona?
No, was remember what's that little? The 4x44.
Yeah. What
that
blew
me away.
I think they just called
the
it
4x44. That's what I said, right?
Asylum Petit Corona. Yeah.
I was like, you got to be kidding me! And that thing had a little. You talk about boom, 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 boom. It had some strength.
To it, but it was.
It really did.
It was very well balanced.
I thought
the 99 Problems didn't have that strength. It was a medium cigar. At best.
I couldn't keep it lit. It had no idea what it was doing.
Yeah.
And I was just completely. I won't even try a second one. I had such a bad experience. But that 44, and unfortunately, the 44 never did well because.
People want the big
again.
rings.
You got that, then you got the 99 Problems.
Right.
Stick to your strength, and that's big rings.
I mean, I think they tried round peg square hole with that 99 Problems.
Oh.
Look, they're very good at making those are for big ring. If you like a big grain gauge cigar, Asylum's going to give you a really good one at a really good price, and that's what their strength is. Yep. I agree with that.
Well, back to you.
Kind of went the opposite with the. So I smoked Paul Doyle's Lancero.
So good.
I smoked a 6x60 Ecuadorian Connecticut, which I actually, when it comes to 6x60s, the ones I really shy away from the most are the Ecuadorian Connecticut's.
Absolutely.
I've had six. However, I found one I really like, which I was shocked, and it's the one by Robert Caldwell. It's part of his junior varsity line. It's called the Ceballana. So the junior varsity line is not getting as much buzz right now as his other line, which is the Caldwell Collection. So Caldwell Collection and junior varsity each have 3 different blends. The junior varsity line is a more budget-friendly price, so the cigars tend to go in the $5 to $7 range. This is a $6.90 cigar. I was real surprised how much this is one of the better Ecuadorian Connecticut 6x60s I've had. It had a lot of cream. It really delivered a lot of cream. The later stages kind of reminded me a little of what the Silk did. It got more cedary. It is a mild to medium cigar, so again, not something that's going to redefine what a Connecticut is. The construction, and this is what I always have. You want to talk about Paul syndrome? When I get them, it's on an Ecuadorian 6x6, Ecuadorian Connecticut 6x60. I just never have luck with these. I smoked a couple of these. The burn was really good. I tell you what, if I know someone who likes 6x60s and they want to have an Ecuadorian Connecticut, I'd recommend this. It's a box split in my book. Again, I don't know if this would still be one I'd reach for, but if I am going to reach for one, this is one of the better ones I've had.
Yeah, but speaking of Caldwell, notice the one that caught me by total surprise was the Eastern Standard Corona. Did you try that?
Wait till you try to lens. Yeah. Now I've
Oh,
heard
I
about the
thought that was.
Lancero being
I thought it was
better,
a decent
so.
smoke.
I think I did. I think I like that better than the King is Dead.
I don't like the. I think that's a great name for the cigar. I really do. It's dead.
Did you guys got to try the torpedo now?
Yeah, you mentioned
I'm
that.
just saying.
I
Yeah,
got to
because
try
I didn't
that.
think the blend was bad. I think some of the different sizes maybe just weren't doing
I
the
just
blend justice.
right. It's just
Yeah.
maybe the blend. Like we got the six
Everyone who
by
smokes
six.
torpedo is agreed with me on this one.
I picked up the Eastern Standard Time. I'm saying, you know something? He did a nice job with that. I enjoyed that
Really?
smoke. Did you try that, Coop, on the Corona?
Yeah,
What you think?
I tried. No, I didn't try the Corona. I'm sorry. I haven't
Oh,
tried the Corona or the
do
Lancero.
it. Do it.
But I
telling
thought it was a great cigar.
Hmm.
But the Lancero is the one I'm really hearing the good things about right
Really?
now.
I tell you, it's tough with Lanceros. It really is.
Yep.
So I had, again, in the I'll go back to the Elohio line, and then next time I'll switch to something else, try and mix it up. The Elohio, excuse me, Habano in the Corona size. This is a great offering in this blend. It's a little amped up version of the Habano. Like this one, they say it tends to be a little stronger. I definitely agree. This one smoked great for me and offered some unique and more rich flavors in that Habano. I'm calling this one a box split. I like this one even just a little, or actually the same as the Robusto was the same rating
I
gave.
just
I think
found it
it's
a little
different.
unbalanced. I like the Robusto.
Yeah,
but
they amped up that strength a little bit.
It took away that, not that it was I can see where you want to go to box. I call it a solid fiver.
Yeah.
Because, a couple that I smoked were just, I don't know, like a great point. That's the strength just seemed to overtake that cigar.
Yeah.
No?
I don't think it overtook it. I thought it was kind of a nice mix-up, but I think that the blend does better in the Robusto, which is kind of more that straight medium.
Yep.
There's no amped up.
I'm not saying it was a powerhouse, but I just felt that.
For the blend, right?
For that particular Vitola, I just felt I got the strength and the flavor just got it just got mixed up. It just I couldn't, I just didn't enjoy it as much as the Robusto. The Robusto, I agree with you. I can see someone saying a box worthy on that too. Definitely a box split. Okay, you got me going. You got it. What you got me on? Oh no, we'll go next.
Let's
go.
I was teasing it. I'm teasing it.
No, that's teasing. Let's keep the teasing going. So the listeners want to hear
you. Like it when I tease you.
Yeah, exactly. What you got
Well,
next?
back to you.
All right, I'm just gonna go with this one because it's next. I got an Oasis cigar.
No, we haven't had an Oasis cigar in a while.
That's tough on this show.
It is. It's been a while.
And this one, I went, and this is only the second one I've given this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, this cigar, you guys talked about it. You guys loved it. I had the bar set very high. I was expecting to be a little underwhelmed. But everything and more, that Joel Sherman 75th celebration is Oasis all the way. It's a Cigar of the Year candidate in my book. It's the best 7.5-inch cigar I've ever had.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you.
Go ahead.
No, when I first reviewed that and did different things, I got a lot of head turning. They're saying because the first thing they look at, what do they look at? What's the first thing they look at on the cigar?
Price tag.
Right. For now on, I'm not going to put for select customers. I'm going to just not even show because then they don't care about the price. That cigar, hands down, was the best cigar at the show.
Really?
Yep.
See, I don't rate it as quite as high. I had it at like a box worthy.
No, I got that.
I got to revisit it.
I'm telling you, that's working towards an. I can see, Coop. I agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Go ahead. I
went
didn't mean
through
to
the
cut
two
you
you
off.
sent me. I went through the two you sent me, and I had to validate it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I validated it because sometimes the second time through, I've come close to giving an Oasis, and then I've pulled back on it. But I've had. I mean, You're the Snake. You and I both liked it. It's unusual for me to like a Churchill.
Right.
I'm not gonna say this. Yeah.
Yep.
It was a journey though for a large cigar. It was a journey.
Yeah, but the flavors, what Coop and I agree, so much right from the beginning. Usually Churchill is halfway down when you get everything, right out of the box.
Right. And I had the pre-light. I went on the dry drawer on this thing, and I thought the first time I had it, I was like, I didn't think the dry drawer was spectacular. But once I took towards that thing, the flavors just exploded on that thing. And let me tell you, the sweetness is very interesting. That orange creamsicle that you talked about.
Yeah.
You get that orange creamsicle right out of the gate. it changes to a honey sweetness in the middle.
I love creamsicles
That
too.
was just yeah.
Oh, I'm telling
I mean,
you.
it was just.
And I don't know if it
There's
was
a lot of
Coop that said
yeah.
it or Mark, or I don't remember. It's a great point. You got to pay attention to the cigar. You can't smoke it with 4 or 5 people around because it's a very subtle changes to it. It's got so much flavor. You got to give it time and just enjoy that. And with a black cup of coffee, that is a home run. You don't need any kind of alcohol with that cigar. It wouldn't pair.
Wouldn't pair.
Wouldn't pair.
Yeah,
That-
because the flavors are subtle.
Yep. Oh,
It did not run out of gas. So here's the thing. What I mean, it didn't run out of gas. You're getting down to that last inch. The flavors are still there. The nub is still firm. I mean, by the way, you want to talk about the anti-Paul syndrome? I lit this thing and didn't have to do anything to it.
No,
I mean, it just burned like unbelievable on that thing the whole way down.
and that's one of the few cigars that smoked me. That's not, and I had that at the dinner with Mike. I'm right at the dinner. We got it at the dinner, and that was part of. I smoked it. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to be a shill, run up and say, you know what I mean? And I smoked 3 more at the shop, and I'm saying, oh my god! And that's when I told Mike. I said, unbelievable. The team effort on this. These guys, they got it right.
You getting more of those in?
Yeah, I got 5 more boxes in.
Ooh, nice.
Yep, and I'm telling you,
We're gonna be talking. We're gonna be talking.
Oh, I'm telling you,
because this is one. Yeah.
At first, I thought no, I didn't call it the best cigar of the show because I didn't want to give it that after one cigar. But after smoking 4 or 5 of them, yep.
Yep. It's gonna be I mean, it's in the running for my number 1 right now.
Yep.
So,
and people see the type of wrapper it is, Coop. They get a little nervous with it. They want to see that Connecticut broadleaf or Habano. When I see that type of leaf, they say, not everyone, but everyone's trying to put out that type of.
How long did it take you to smoke that cigar, guys?
2 hours.
2 hours, me too.
2 hours, yeah.
Yep.
And could you believe that's an old Dominican blend? That's the other thing that blew me away.
It is. It leaves me speechless. It truly is.
Yep. I mean, I know it's a pricey cigar.
Oh.
If you know what, if you got a special occasion and you're open to have it, look, it's not going to be a nicotine bomb, this cigar either. But if you're open to trying something a little more, I'd say it's a medium.
Yep.
Medium minus, maybe.
Yeah, medium minus. That's
give this. I mean, especially if you're going for Davidoff white labels, and those are great cigars. I tell you what, this one, I mean, eclipses it by a mile.
And like I said, the Bellow the Ball, I call that symphony of flavors. That's the best way I can put that cigar. It just never disappoints. Anyway, Paul,
I got a La Riqueza Robusto.
Nothing. I'm waiting for that. Never mind.
No, I didn't have construction problems.
No, I'm waiting for the.
You're waiting for the Aloha. No, I'm talking about La Riqueza.
Okay, see this.
I mean, this is what I think. Stogie Santa, you and Mark Jr. I think you guys really like this blend.
Yeah, I love it.
And I think I'm not there with you and loving it as much as you guys do.
Really?
Like, I called this one a 5er, and this has got some age on it. It probably has 3 years of age on it. And it's still a 5er for me. I think it's got that good Nicaraguan twang. After some age, it's good medium-bodied smoke. But it's still a 5er in my book.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's not a bad rating for the cigar, but I don't think I think this is where some of our palates might differ. You know?
Yeah, that's the best thing. And speaking of Lanceros with Pete, know what I pulled out? When did he first release that El Triunfador Connecticut broadleaf? What was that, about 3-4 years ago?
Oh, it's before 2011. I know that.
Yeah, I know that. Whatever. I thought it was like, anyway, I remember I ended up getting like maybe 10 of those, and I forgot all about them. I'm smoking those things now. Those are going towards fighting Chuck Norris.
Wow.
That's what I would say.
Oh my God. You talk about aging potential. We got them at the store. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, get a half a dozen, or get a dozen of them or more. Put them away for like a year. And I think that's that's the cream of that's the bell of the ball in those Lanceros, hands down for me.
Really?
It's the bell of the ball. Yep. And right off the bat, they're good. But put them down. Oh, my goodness. So, anyway, we're talking about the Lanceros. Coop?
Back to you.
Okay. My last one, actually, this is my last one. So I went with a double Corona this week, and I went down to the island of Cuba. I didn't go down the island of Cuba, but I have a cigar from the island of Cuba. It's the Punch Double Corona, which I had not smoked before. It's about a 7.5 by 49. It's a double Corona, all Cuban tobacco. It kind of was the Punch brand has always been, from the Cuban side, it's always been one I've leaned towards more than the U.S. one. But this cigar was kind of what I expected. It had a lot of notes of natural tobacco. It had this subtle sweetness throughout, like a subtle fruit sweetness almost throughout it. Didn't change up much. It had some earthy notes, a little bit of grass in there too. I had heard people say this was a very spicy cigar, and I did not get the spice off this cigar. I mean, people were telling me this was more spicier for Cuban. I don't agree with it at all. Double Coronas, I was talking to Seth from Seth's Humidor, and he made a really good point. It's very hard to make a good double Corona.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, when you start getting it, it's very hard to make it. But this one out of Habanos, it's a solid cigar. Normally I like a little more strength with my cigar with this. It's worth the fiber. I mean, it was, if you want a nice smooth cigar for a couple hours where you don't want to think about something, but just have a really enjoyable smoke with a cup of coffee. This will give you a nice couple hours smoke, and you won't have to think much about it. So it's kind of the opposite of
when you come up in October. Was it October you're coming up? November, whatever it is.
November.
I got a 2009. I got about half a dozen of those left. Wait to smoke those.
So Will, there's a story behind this cigar. If you look in the Stogies feed, you'll see some of it. Stogie Santa gifted me one from 2009.
Yeah.
I smoked it, and I absolutely fell in love with it, Will. And that was probably in 2012 that you gave that to me.
What did you guys rate it? Do you remember?
Oh, that would be
that one was
Fight Chuck Norris.
That was a Fight Chuck Norris. That one that Stogie Santa.
Really?
So I bought a box in 2012, and the box date was from 2011, and I still have more than half a box left from 2011.
Oh, I'm telling you.
I'll tell you, this thing smoked again. It was one of those cigars that didn't run out of gas at the end. It went all the way. Now, did you guys get, because I was reading what people wrote about this cigar, people were saying it had more spice. I didn't get the spice of this.
No.
When they're younger, they have a little bit of spice, but that dies
gone.
off in the first couple of year or
Okay.
so. Now, Will, did you get this from me? Did I gift you one of these?
This was actually gifted to me from someone in Charlotte.
Oh, okay. I thought I might have gifted you one from my 2011 box.
Long story, Seth gave me a Ramona Iones that I wanted to smoke, and it was a double Corona, and I forgot it, and I was all bummed out, and someone basically had pity on me and said, I have a double Corona, and he handed me this. I'm like, oh, thank you. So it was like, really enjoyed it. So it was good. I didn't get it up to a Chuck Norris cigar, but I don't know what batch it was from either. So
yeah.
Oh, the spice component. I'm telling you, this cigar.
Oh, you're smoking the Opus X Angel Share.
Oh, it just
Churchill. Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's like it evolves each third. I'm telling you,
I smoked one the other night.
This is already box worthy, and this is going real close to Chuck Norris.
I think that cigar is going to be Oasis with the Angel.
Oh, I'm telling you,
without question. I smoked an Elohio Habano Churchill size.
Really?
This was a good stick. I think it had great potential. However, these have been in the shop like a week, maybe a week and a half, and it just seemed a little young and wet. I think this needs a little more time. Sorry.
I thought you were doing the ESVs.
No, I'm doing all Habano. All Habano first.
ESV.
I didn't smoke any of the LSV.
The LSV.
I didn't smoke any of the LSV yet. That'll be next week.
Oh,
I'll go through the LSV.
I thought that's the one.
No, so this is all Habano. I'm going to give this another shot. I didn't give this a rating because it was a little spongy. Like I think this one just needs time to dry out. I think some of the smaller sizes might have dried out. But this one just needs to kind of sell out a little bit. Just the way it smoked, I had to relight it a bunch. By no means a bad cigar, but I'm kind of holding off on my rating until I can let these sit for a little longer and come back to them. So I got
to ask you a question here.
Go ahead.
And Paul will ask you this too. The Habanos and the LSVs, are they, is it me or I have a lot of trouble differentiating those two?
Oh, like
when
flavor?
I look at them in a store.
Oh, when you look at them? No, the LSVs. Well, the latest batch that came in, I agree in the past, Will, you might have had trouble. The latest batch that came in, the wrappers on the LSVs are darker than the Habanos. It's
They
a
are?
noticeable difference.
I couldn't see the difference.
See,
Before, I
those
couldn't see the
bands
difference
just
either.
Because
confuse
I
me.
tell you
if
what.
they just would do something on the band.
Oh, the band is very confusing.
Yeah, because what happened, to be honest with you, when I got the samples at the show, I got confused.
Yes. It's very easy to get confused.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going in next door and getting a Havana Club like one by one. I'm not like buying a whole bunch because I'm afraid they're going to get I'm going to get confused as to what's what.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of buying them one by one and figuring out what I like before I kind of go buy my
Good
box
point,
or
Coop. I
whatever.
never-
That is a good point. Will the bands are confusing?
And sometimes especially with retailers, and I'm not if people taking them out and putting them back in the box, in the humidor without without your tobacconist there. I mean, you don't have that problem, in your store. I know with your types of cigars, but in other stores, it's a problem. I just think.
I think that's almost close to what Skip's on his on the Accutane and the.
I have the same problem with Skip's line.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Unless you
I
pay.
have a tough time differentiating.
And what I that's a hand sell. When I tell them, I
is.
always tell people the light tan is Accutane and the black is a CBL. You know what I
Yep.
mean? I just tell them, make sure you know the difference, and you should be able to know the difference when you smoke it. And I shouldn't put it like that, but there's a distinct difference. There
yeah.
is, and that's what happened. I had a person did the Move 5, and he says, well, I don't understand the big raving about it. I said, well, it's a good cigar. And then I said, which one do you smoke? And he pointed out it wasn't the Move 5. Then he smoked the Move 5, and then he understood. You see?
Okay.
So that little, the bands are nice, but.
I, too, visited the island of Cuba in the form of a Monte Cristo No. 4 from 2011. This was a great cigar. This was really amped up in strength. For the Monte Cristo line, I found this particular Vitola, which is like a Lonsdale, to be really kind of amped up in strength.
Mm-hmm.
It smoked okay. I had to relight it a couple times.
See, thank you. Thank you. See, you're the only one so far. I like the 4s, but I have more problems with them.
Just like burn. It wasn't so much construction.
No,
like the
no,
draw was
just
okay.
playing with it.
Yeah, you just had to kind of fight it a little bit.
Yep.
And maybe
that's the only reason why I'll never buy another box.
Yeah.
Nope, I won't do it.
I called it a 5er.
That's a good assessment.
Yeah. All right.
See, I thought it was me.
See, I thought it was Paul syndrome.
No, I thought it was my syndrome because everyone, Mark Jr.,
No.
a couple of my friends are saying,
agree
you too, Coop? The 4s drove
totally
me
in agreement
nuts.
with that 4.
Oh. You know what's a cigar when it comes to the end of the notes here on the Monte Cristos? No, I found a cigar that was strong that caught me by surprise with the Edmundo. Did you find that strong?
Oh, yeah.
The petite or the regular?
The regular Edmundo.
I smoked those in the morning. I didn't find them strong at all.
Well,
Did you get a new batch of them maybe and they're stronger?
No. I thought those strong.
You're not still smoking the batch that we box split a lot.
No, that was a long time. I got like 2-3 boxes since then. So I'm not saying that they're like punch your face, but I was like, wow, I can't surprise.
The petite Edmundo's got some kick to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time. The Cuban cigar fairy may be visiting Paul soon.
Yeah.
So I'll keep our listeners up to date on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They didn't come in yet?
No, not yet.
That's been 2 weeks.
No, it hasn't been 2 weeks. It's been a week.
All right.
I had just ordered them that day.
Oh,
or the fairy
day.
had just ordered them that day.
Very,
The fairy, the Cuban cigar fairy. So, back to Elogio Habano Lancero. So this cigar, without a doubt, is the belle of the ball. Now, I believe there's a torpedo in the Habano line, I'm told. If I look on their website, I don't know if they make it.
I don't know. I don't have that answer.
Dave?
Coop, but you would know better.
I think there is.
I saw on their website they did have a torpedo. I don't know, but their Lancero wasn't on their website, so I'm not sure if they discontinued the torpedo in favor of the Lancero. Having said that, the Lancero reminds me of the flavor profile I got from that Elogio Salomon. There was just wonderful clouds of smoke, awesome flavors, very toasty, nutty, subtle sweetness, perfectly balanced, a joy to smoke. I don't think you should age these for too long. Don't let them go like longer than a year for sure. But I'm buying it. I mean, this is a fight Chuck Norris for him in my book. This Lancero in the Elogio Habano line.
Wow. While we're on that line, I got a question for Coop and for Paul. The Joel Sherman Age and potential.
That's another one I wouldn't let go more longer than a year.
Not. I say smoke them when you
6
got them.
months, smoke them when you got them.
I say smoke them when you got them.
Me
I
too.
mean, I don't know. It's hard to see this getting better.
I just don't.
And that's going to weigh. That's going to weigh in towards the end of the year if this is my cigar of the year or not, too.
Yeah, this one was, excuse me, very similar strength profile to that Joel Sherman. It doesn't have quite the complexity, but it had some great flavor. I hate to compare the two, but this Lancero, I'm telling you, was absolutely. And this is a newer size for them. Like I said, it wasn't listed on their website. I didn't actually know they made a Lancero in the Habano line.
They make it in both.
Yeah,
there's one in the LSV line too.
This one,
but the website's very outdated.
Yeah, this one is absolutely fantastic. It was my smoke of the week. I did also try one of their other ones too. What's their new limited ones? Torpedo with a big fan pigtail.
The Eccentrico 3.
Yeah, I smoked that one too. I'm holding off on my rating.
I love the original.
I'm holding off on my rating on that one. I think it needs some time. I found it to be very young, and it just didn't have the flavor profile for me yet. But I think age is going to be the determining factor in that smoke. Did you smoke that one, Will?
Yeah. No, not the 3. I haven't smoked the 3 yet. I'm going to be going somewhere next week that has them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious to see what you think of that. It's I think a pricier stick, right? Is there a limited line?
Yeah, they usually go for about $12 to $15.
Yeah.
I have the other 2 Eccentricos in my humidor.
It's a great presentation with that like Opus X BBMF style pigtail on it, and it's got a closed foot on the end. So it's a very straight torpedo, almost more of a pyramid than a torpedo. But yeah, the Habano Lancero was the cream of the crop so far in the Habano line. With
more so than a Salomon?
Salomon is hands down Elohio's best cigar they've ever produced.
I thought it was the Salomon till I had that blend in the Robusto.
Oh yeah, you had
the Robusto better.
That's that same blend in the Robusto size.
Yep.
I still like the Salomon better.
I really. Oh, it's not knocking the Salomon. I just really like the way that Robusto smoked. But that's that best blend. I mean, blend wise, that Limitada.
All right, so we got a segment. So you know what? Let's take a short break, come back, and we're going to talk about the Cigar Journal Awards segment that Will prepared for us. So with that, we're going to take a short break and come back.
These fucking things are good. Huh? Oh.